What is happening, everyone? It is a beautiful day. My name is Justin Woodward. I am the co-founder of The Mix and Black Voice in Gaming. Welcome to the 5th annual Black Voice in Gaming Guerrilla Collective Showcase, where we interview talented black game developers who will share the trailers and gameplay footage of their creations. My friend Derek Fields, developer, artist, founder of Waking Oni Studios and BVIG Foundation advisor, will be hosting with me and hop on the sticks to play one of the games. To tell you a little bit about the BVIG and how it started, this showcase and organization was created in June of 2020 during the protests and demonstrations that united us worldwide. Black Voices in Gaming has gone from a showcase to a nonprofit organization, which helps to accelerate the growth of professional game developers and provide opportunities. You know, the world has changed, but our mission has not. For the past 4 years, I've been the lead advisor on the Humble Black Game Developer Fund, which has funded and supported 40 games by black developers globally. We are excited that through our parent nonprofit, Experience Studios, we will continue the work that we started at Humble and take it to the next level. We are proud to be Humble's featured charity for June, so please head over to the Humble Bundle page to grab a bundle, some games, and more info on the cause. We want to thank our partners for today's showcase, Razer, PlayStation, and Raw Fury. You guys are great. We couldn't do it without you. We can't forget to thank our wonderful broadcasting partners, Twitch, IGN, GameSpot, Steam, for hosting us. Don't forget to check out the Guerrilla Collective Black Voice in Gaming and Dames for Games event page to learn more about Black Voice in Gaming titles, buy the available games, or add them to your wish lists because it helps the devs out a lot. If you're looking for other ways to help, you can donate to Black Voices in Gaming's charity through the QR code on screen that is linked to Streamlabs and Tiltify charity pages. Any amount helps. We truly appreciate it. Remember to follow BVIG on Twitter at BVI Gaming and everywhere else, Black Voices in Gaming. To get things sparked off, our first guest, James Averett, is an artist and character designer behind the game Jay and Silent Bob Chronic Blunt Punch. Let's check out the trailer and get into the interview. What is happening? That has me cracking up every time, especially when Jay says, "Chronic Blunt Punch, bitch." I'm just like, it's.
Yo, I was focused in on the mascot that was getting punched up in the animated trailer. I was trying to figure out, like, when do we see more of that? Like, what's going to be happening there?
Wait, which one? Which one?
There's a mascot. Somebody's in like a cow mascot or something like that.
Yeah. That was the Jay and Silent Bob Chronic Blunt Punch trailer. One of the games actually I'm working on. And we have James Averett.
You said it right.
I try to make it as quick as possible so I could, like, pronounce those syllables, consonants, and all them things. You know what I'm saying? How's it going, James?
It's going well. Thanks for having me. How are you guys doing?
Thanks for jumping in. I mean, all those characters in that in the trailer are characters that you designed, which is pretty dope. Do you want to kind of talk about, like, your role as a lead character artist and maybe where you got started?
Sure. Well, the role was really kind of something that I aspired to and didn't know if it was in the cards for me in the long term. But um, when it presented itself, I was always made to feel like, hey, you can go big with your imagination, and we can always reel it in. And so I always felt like it was a role that let me be as creative as I really wanted to be, and that was one of the best parts of it. So um, throughout the whole process, I always had fun with it, and the goal is really to just make characters that looked believable in some way or another. Um, and let's see, where did I get started? Oh man, I've been drawing since I was old enough to hold a pencil, and so as a kid, going to church with my parents, they would give me a piece of paper to keep me busy because I was always attention was everywhere else, and so um, I would draw different people around the church and then show my parents and make them laugh, and then they'd be like, "Hide it," because they were trying not to laugh in church, and so fortunately, I had parents that always nurtured that artistic side, and they encouraged it. So um, that went all the way up through art school where you and I met, and I worked part time doing caricatures for SeaWorld, and
Yeah, like everybody worked at SeaWorld, but I think the difference is people clean the everyone else cleaned cages and you were drawing caricatures, which was kind of
I love that. I love that. If I could ask just really briefly, could you talk a little bit about maybe some of the stylistic influences? Because you mentioned, drawing, caricatures, if you will, of people at church, and then actually drawing caricatures at SeaWorld. Both of them have kind of a comic influence. What are some of the styles that play an impact on your artwork?
Oh man, I've always been inspired by just different people, and I've always kind of found sort of like a beauty in different features, different body sizes and styles and types, and different you know like facial features, and I would always be one of the
clowning
people that
people.
yeah.
Gotta put it lightly.
To put it lightly, yeah. Like, but it was like one of those things where it came naturally because you would observe something about somebody. So they'd be like, oh,
Right.
do you know Bernice? And I'd be like, oh, the one with the small face. And they'd be like, oh, yeah. I never noticed that. And it's like,
I get in trouble
but
for that all the time. Yeah, yes. That's
yeah,
hilarious.
yeah. And so it's one of those things where it's like, it always stuck with me. And those were the things that I noticed, which kind of lent itself to the caricature situation. And of course, growing up, our parents used to play Looney Tunes and like the Disney movies, and those all had really extreme character designs and like major exaggerations. And so that to me, along with that sort of comedic timing of the animation and everything, really made a huge impact on my style and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
That's cool. How did you have any trouble kind of breaking out of doing so much caricature work when you started to design characters? Because it seems like it could be a habit after a while to make them look like the traditional caricatures that you would see in various, I don't know, I was gonna say carnivals. Yeah,
Well,
you know what I mean? Because you worked at the zoo
I
too.
I worked at the zoo and I worked at the LA County Fair, so technically the carnival. I've been all over with the caricature, and I have all my fingers too. But yeah, but no, I did. I would say the caricatures I always kept kind of separate from the other art that I did, just because for me it was a job, and I had some friends that did caricatures as well, and they they encouraged me to keep doing it because they said, they really like my style or they like my approach to it. And so I always kind of kept that, in the repertoire. But with the character designs, I don't lean so heavily into it. I just kind of draw on like the principles of it. So like, you might see it in some of the characters that I design, facial proportions. They don't all look like the same character, or they don't look like they're all following the same formula. So, it definitely played a role in it.
Right. That's really great. We saw a hint of some of the characters that are taking shape in the game. To what you can speak to. What are some of the highs and lows of working on character design? As far as like challenges that might come up or things that you're just really excited by doing.
I think the lows. Let's start with the lows and finish with the highs. I think the lows would be. Sometimes you do have those like walls that you hit, those creative walls, and you're like trying to think, how can I make this different? And or did I already use this approach to this character? How do you make things varied enough to where they look like they're still in the same realm, but they don't look exactly the same. They don't look like reskins or cutouts of the same character. And so sometimes that can be a challenge, and just the pressure that you can put on yourself sometimes, that would be a low. But I think on the opposite side of that, the highs are just when you hit it and you get a really good character and you show it for the first time, and then everybody's laughing or they're like pointing out something that you like specifically put in there for that purpose. And it's just great when you really get a good character going.
Yeah, the characters are ridiculous. Like we would be cracking up when looking at and just like coming up with ideas. Can you describe a few of the characters that we have in the game? They're all like pretty ridiculous, but
yeah. So one of my she's still one of my favorites is Rascal Flaps. And she's like a really large woman on a scooter that tries to run you down. It's like a motorized scooter, and when they, I was just kind of given the okay to get as ridiculous as possible, and she ended up being 80% woman and 20% scooter, and it worked out really well. And it was super funny, like a lot of secondary animation in that character. And yeah. And what else? The phone drones were fun to design too. The characters that are all like looking at their phones, and they kind of all fit in that same realm, but they have that same like glossed over look on their face, and yeah, those were fun to design. So.
Yeah. Now I imagine, because in the nature of the game, you have this ability to be able to like stretch the boundary on not only creating caricatures, but driving home jokes that might come with that. How, from a design perspective, do you balance things in a way where there's still, tasteful might be the right word here, but stretching it to the point where we know it's funny. We're here to have fun with it.
Like I said in the beginning, I was always given the okay to go big, and so I would go as far as I could take it. Justin can attest to that. We would sometimes just go.
There is sometimes we would have to be like, yo,
Yeah.
Not but like, yo, we may need to like push that back a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe offensive if we're trying to get a, you know what I mean? If we're trying to get a mature rating.
It's like we need to pull this back a little.
So we can stay within before the AO, toe only situation. Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, maybe it's like they said too much genitalia. Like you need like 5 less or something.
Right. It's like, do they need that many nipples? Really? Yeah. But, so no, it was like go big and then you can dial it back, because sometimes it's harder to get something that's reserved to be pushed a little further, whereas like when you go big you can always pull it back a little, you can scale it back. So that was kind of the approach that we went with: go big or go home.
And you were when you went to school, the Art Institute, you were in game design, right?
I was.
So you had to learn. You basically can you talk a little bit about how you learned how to you basically learned how to animate by yourself, right?
Yeah. So the funny thing is, I initially went to that school wanting to go into animation, and the academic directors convinced me to go into game design. So I had all of one animation class while I was at the school, and I didn't do too well in that class. But you know, I always loved animation, and I loved trying to figure out the things that made it work, you know, and the different styles of animation. So I always noticed like the difference between Disney and their like sometimes over animated short cartoons versus the Looney Tunes cartoons that had this snappy limited animation that really lent itself to the comic timing. And then, you know, also growing up watching anime and like, you know, different cartoons on Nickelodeon and everything, you learn what makes the animations feel cohesive to the style that they're in. And so that was my approach, was just gaining an understanding of like the things that made certain animation styles work, and then implementing those things into my work, you know, trying to figure out the frame rates and like how to make things snap pop. So.
Yeah. If I could just very quickly kind of squeeze in one more little question, and that's, you know, having taken the skills that you've leveraged for Chronic Blunt Punch, is there anything that you're hoping to do next with, you know, animation or character design?
I just want to keep giving. I mean, it's really fulfilling to create a character from a simple concept and then watch it come to life. And so I just want to keep doing it and just pass on whatever knowledge that comes with that. Yeah.
Dope.
That's the goal.
Well, thanks so much, James, for joining us. Tell us where to find more about the game and yourself, and what other stuff that you may be doing.
Yeah, keep an eye out for the game on Twitter, Facebook, you know, Instagram, all of those platforms. And I'll be working on a new project that I can't say too much about, but I will make it known once I'm able to talk about it.
Love it.
Cool. Thanks for joining us, man.
Thank you guys for having me.
Appreciate it. See you around.
James is hilarious. Great interview. It's awesome to see him glow up and find inspiration to grow his art. Keep going, man. If you are enjoying what you see so far, consider supporting our developers through our Streamlabs and Tiltify pages. Donations to Black Voice in Gaming support our mission of helping game studio entrepreneurs succeed. And while you're at it, check out our Steam event page to wishlist the titles on today's show and much more. Once this show is over, please stay tuned for the Dames for Games showcase, which is focused on uplifting our sisters in gaming, and keep it locked for the Stream for a Cause showcase, as they are helping to paint the world a rainbow. Next up, we have a trailer featuring games from the BVIG cohort, and we will then hop into an international one-on-one interview with Andrea Marsili from Marslit Games. Let's go.
Gotta go fast, bombastic. Puzzle blocks fall in, break, that's magic. Gotta go fast, bombastic. When I'm solving, blocks fall magic. Brain waves on the Twitch feel passion. For the closure, satisfaction. Arranging my passionate closely. I'm loving my time with the whole team. Playing online in a full screen. It was always in the back of my mind how I found place in rap. When my foundation was lost of time, it cost a whole statement track. Of apostle God's kin in a soft tin, going all in since the pots bubbled and acoustic sonic and guitar hymns. How I stopped them from accosting. Gotta go fast, bombastic. Puzzle bugs fall, then break, that's magic. Gotta go fast, bombastic. Puzzle bugs fall, break, that's magic. Gotta go fast, bombastic. Puzzle bugs fall, then break, that's magic.
Wanna go fast, fantastic. First you gotta learn to go slow, that's mastery. Otherwise, capsize the craft, that's tragedy. Like the stank of the niggas had to laugh at me. And I'm so sincere, they look surprised. The painter cuts his ear and I gouge my eyes. That's art, my dear, you know the price. I pay it gladly. How embarrassing, the upper handing, the always having, the never growling. My hunger prowling, unencumbered, plugged into wonder. I found the path and tore asunder. Is it my writing causing the thunder and lightning? Is it my immaculate style making a hater smile? Is there a pension plan for a poet in Wonderland? Perhaps a participation protection one could find place in? Guess we'll settle for a podcast placement.
Gotta go fast, bombastic. Puzzle box fall, break, that's magic. Gotta go fast, bombastic. Puzzle box fall, break, that's magic. Gotta go fast, bombastic. Puzzle box fall, break, that's magic. Gotta go fast, bombastic. Puzzle box fall, break, that's magic.
Welcome back, and this is so amazing. We're with Andrea Marsili, and hopefully I'm saying that correctly. You could correct me if I'm wrong. With Marslit Games, who is developing a really, really awesome game, Althea: The Wrath of a Fairy. Hey, Andrea, how are you doing?
Fine, thanks, Justin.
It's cool. I mean, you're all the way in Italy. I'm saying all the way. I know we're worldwide in this piece, but how is it in Italy as a Black developer? I know I'm jumping the gun. When I went to Italy, there wasn't a lot of Black folks there.
No, I mean, I'm probably the only one, but I mean, it's fine. The indie scene is growing up, and things seems to go pretty well here, So I would say things are going fine for Black developer here. Let's say developer in general. There is not like a Black developer scene here. So let's say for indie developer, things are going pretty well here in Italy. Yes.
That's cool. There's a lot of like indie developers. I don't want to say a lot. There's a few indie developers that I work with in Italy, and they're always like very gracious and awesome to talk to and connect with, and always have really cool projects. How did you get started in game development?
I mean, I mean me and my brother, because the whole Marslit game is just me and my brother. Started in the comics and book industry for a few years. We didn't really like it, and we've been gamer for our whole life. So one day I was like, let's try to make games. And my brother just said yes, and we tried to make games. I mean, I'm the programmer and writer part of the team, while my brother do everything that is graphical or artistic, because I can do any of that. So it was just like that. We've been working together basically for our whole life, So there is a great chemistry between me and my brother. So I mean, you wouldn't say Althea is a game made by just two people,
Yeah. Is it just you, or do you have others?
Yes, just me and my brother.
Wow, that's crazy. Like the game, the game looks amazing. It looks so good.
Yes, the animation, the writing, the programming, even the porting, everything is just me and my brother.
We're gonna pop some gameplay on the screen as we talk about it, but talk to us about Althea: The Wrath of a Fairy. It looks really, really dope.
So long story short, the game is basically heavily inspired by The Legend of Zelda, the old one, like Twilight Princess, or Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, this kind of Zelda. So we liked Breath of the Wild a lot, but we felt like dungeon were missing. I miss dungeon, and this is where the main idea from Althea came true. We wanted to do a early 2000 Zelda game, in 2024. And also we took inspiration from a lot of anime because we are deep into the anime thing, So there is a lot of inspiration from Studio Ghibli but even Evangelion. This is what we grew up with, At the deepest side of the game. I mean, the game is mainly gameplay and things to do. There is a lot to do, a lot to see, but we wanted to make a game where it's like, those deep personal in the game, but where on the surface you see just basically a pure gameplay game with all of the deep meaning, because the game is mainly about dealing with that, because we have some rough year in the past, and as writer, I wanted to do something with it, and I came up with a story, and my brother came up with the gameplay. We have like one single mind when we work.
That's
This
cool.
is
So
how we work.
can you tell, give us a synopsis of the game and kind of what, the character and that kind of thing?
Yes, sure. So there are two main characters. There is Lily and Sadie. And Lily is just like Link, is a guardian. She has a sword and do guardian things. While Sadie is a monk and he use magic, is more of a thinking guy, use more his mind than his power. And together use both character to basically go through the game. You solve puzzles together. You live your journey together because they are both main characters. Both of them lost someone at the beginning of the game. They have to deal with it, and they have to learn from each other. They have to learn to cooperate. Your power became more powerful, and you became more cooperative while you advance through the game. The more you play, the more the relationship change. The more the relationship change, the more you can do in terms of gameplay.
That's cool. So there's immersive elements to it. As you're doing something, it opens up different pathways.
Yes. As I said, like in the other Zelda, you get a new power and you get to explore new areas, that you couldn't explore before, or you go back to a dungeon, because we have dungeon. You go back to a dungeon that you previously couldn't really fully explore, And now that you can use the new power you obtain to explore new areas in the said dungeon and learn more about the lore of the game and advance through to the story,
Did you use real life elements to draw from when you were writing the story? What was the writing process like?
I mean, the writing process is a huge mess because because you have to adapt to what's happening. Game development is not a straight line, and whoever is telling it is a straight line is lying. So I had the story at the beginning, and while I was developing, while we were creating, I changed bits and parts here and there. The core story is there, is 100% the same that I wrote the first day. But basically, not say every day, but basically for the first half of the development, everything changed regularly, because you work on system, you work on the character, and you learn more on the character. Even while you write them, you think with their mind, and thinking with their mind, you learn more about them. So you want to change something in the story. So there is not a real writing process, as there is not a real normal development process. You have we don't make concept, we don't do anything in between the idea and the realization. I come up with an idea and my brother just visualize it in his mind, and it goes straight on creating it. You know,
That
if
totally
I
makes
have,
that makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, I have a character. I read about this character, and my brother can see it how I imagine it, exactly how I imagine it. I don't know how that works, but it's like that. You know.
No, that totally makes sense. Are there like certain uh characteristics that you're drawing from like friends and family as you're developing the characters, or is it just like you have this idea of this character and like you want to make this specific idea and character come to life?
You know, there is a little bit of us in the character, not really families, but mainly me. Again, me and my brother in the character. You know, not people I know, but it's a way. Writing is a way of dealing with what happened to me. You know, mainly to me because I'm the brother. You know, but what happened to me also happened to my family and my brother because we're all together. You know, so both characters are just a mirror of me. Yes, a mirror of me. Let's say that. Both
That's
characters.
yeah, that's cool. Does it draw from like as you like how you were getting to your family was getting to Italy? Or I know earlier before we even jumped on, you were talking
Yeah.
about how your family
Mhm.
left Somalia, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I mean, my mom, my father was from Italy, but no, it's not really. There's not really that. No, but there is. As I said, there is a lot about my past. Like my past 10 years are probably there is a lot there, a lot, really, like a lot. I don't want to spoil anything because if I say
Yeah.
something, I'm gonna spoil something in the game. So I don't really want to say too much. But yes, there is definitely a lot about my past, my life, and everything. Even it doesn't look like a game, you know, this heavy story game where there is the developer that put all his life inside the game, and you can clearly see it. You know, you really need to understand it. Previously, I said that one of the inspiration was Evangelion, and Hideaki Anno put a lot of him inside the anime, and if you just saw it, you can grasp it. But if you really pay attention, you can see what he was going through and his life and idea in his creation. And I want to do the same thing. I won't manage to do it, but this is the idea, let's say.
That's cool. I think just, people are interested in, indie creators because they're putting so much personality into the game. So it's like it's comforting to see that you're coming from a place of just, pure passion and how
Yeah,
you're
absolutely.
putting this together. What has been the journey like as you've been developing the game? Like how long have you been making the game? What has been your path to
Mhm.
almost completion?
Uh, like hell on earth, you know, it was tough. It's tough. And we've been through a lot of nice, good moment, a lot more of bad moment. But as of the game, as of the writing process, we try to use everything that happened to us and put it in the game. You know, even if we've been through a lot of bad time, you know, we are close to finish the game. We are pretty satisfied to how it's coming out, you know, and the whole process, the whole journey was, I don't know, at this moment, something I wouldn't do again. But I know that as soon as I finish this game, I'm going to jump right into the next one, you know? So
Yeah, you're glad.
I don't know if I hate myself or is something
I think it
wrong about me, but it's like that, you know?
No, I feel you. I mean, I'm, as a developer myself, I'm the same thing. I feel it's like a glutton for punishment, as they
Mm,
say, where I'm like, it's painful sometimes, but it's
yes,
a journey. Like it's a very interesting. There's a lot of twists and turns, and at the end of the day, you've created something. So,
yeah,
congratulations for getting this far. You know what I mean? And like making
yeah.
something that's like
Thank you.
it's very impressive, you know? Yeah, that's cool. It's great that you're able to also express that. Are what are some of the trials and tribulations that you've had? Like, can you just name maybe one that other developers may go through?
So the main thing about the this is going to be like taking it from far, 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 but this main thing about this whole industry, and then is that the people making the game are not the people taking the decision, and so there is some miscommunication, you know. This is one thing that I think a lot of developer can relate to, and other things is I hate cloud stuff, asynchronous stuff, but it is more of a programmer's things. And other than that, I think I really like the journey of making the game. Even if, as I probably said, I hate it, but I really like it because you get to deal with your own thoughts. You Even if it sounds boring, you get to stare at a screen for like 12, 13 hours a day because we've been crunched like from day one and so on. But you get to stare at the screen for 15-hour, 14-hour days, and you think a lot, And for me, for how I am, it's great, It do a lot of good for me, at least mentally.
That's no, I feel you on that. Yeah, thanks for sharing for sure. So where can we find out more about Althea, the Wrath of Aferi?
For sure, Steam wishlist, please. But also Twitter and Instagram. I don't post that often because I basically don't have a life. But when I remember that I have Twitter and like x.com or call it how you want, and Instagram, I post about the game. Yes, these are the main channel where you can find us. Yes, for sure.
Oh, okay, cool. I know you don't want me to necessarily ask because I know it's going to be done when it's done. Do you have a time frame? 2025, 2026?
Yes, during my lifetime for sure.
Okay.
But from the end of this year and beginning of the next one.
Okay, great. That's awesome. That's good to hear. At least you have some kind of, light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes. Light at the end of the tunnel.
Cool.
Right.
Well, thank you so much, Andrea.
Thank
it's
you,
awesome to
Justin.
hear your story, and we're gonna show some dope gameplay footage, and folks definitely wishlist the game on Steam right now to support Marslit. Andrea and his family have such a fascinating indie story. I can't wait to play their game, and definitely need to go to Italy for some delicious food and game tasting. No buco di beppo. Shout out to Sean Alexander Allen, one of the leaders of BVIG, and all the devs for showing their latest and greatest in that trailer. If you missed some of the dope developers and games from BVIG, check out our website and follow us on Twitter/X at BVI Gaming. The Dames for Games and Stream for a Cause showcases are up next, so please keep it locked after the show. Now let's keep things rolling to our final conversation and game demo with our friend Tomas Gomez, BVIG alumni, industry vet, and the founder of Pancake Games Studios, who are about to release their title, Slime Heroes. was amazing. The music is so well orchestrated. We got Tomas Gomez here chilling with us, an alumni of BVIG.
That's right.
BGDF. Like, we connected during the Guerrilla Collective of 2021, I think, like at that time. But yeah, let's bring him in.
Yeah, really excited to have you here.
Slime Heroes looks so sick. It's just progressed so well. It sounds great. Like, the action looks great. The transformations are so slick. It's so cool to see the progression.
Yeah, it's been an amazing experience. Like, this was the first, I started the studio, and this is the first game I've been making it by myself, and I've gotten to meet great people like y'all and joining different groups like Black Voices in Gaming, and it's been a great experience getting to build this game and grow a team. And I appreciate all the good vibes.
Yeah, for sure.
Always good vibes. So I'm going to be on the controller here. So, you know, multitasking is always a myth for me, getting to talk and play at the same time. But I got to know, like, you know, what's been behind some of the lovely inspirations, the vibes that are being shared with this, because it's whimsical. It's like, it's got everything.
Mm-hmm. We wanted to build something that was very welcoming and wholesome, and so basically all of our decisions, both on the art and design, we wanted it to be very inclusive and we wanted to build a world that people wanted to stay in. And so art, we wanted to be very like colorful and vibrant. Nothing, even our most scariest areas, still have some wholesomeness to them, some charm. And then within the design itself, like even though this is like an action game, like we are trying to build stuff to where like you're never, for example, you're never killing an enemy, you're saving them and doing the thing where you like remove the corruption, little creatures pop out and stuff like that. So we just try to add as much wholesome and charm as possible into this game.
Yeah, it's definitely felt. Though I don't know if I saved the one creature that I knocked off the cliff a moment ago. They might have a hard time getting back to me.
Oh, no, they're fine.
I'm putting faith in you.
Yeah,
it's very cinematic. I mean, it looks like to the stature of a AAA game, really.
Thank you.
AAA game, which is very impressive. And the music, it sounds like you actually hired a classical orchestra. So, but you know what I mean? I'm maybe I'm like fronting a little bit, but how did that happen? Like, how did you come up with that?
So we were really lucky. I think this was the first hire for the studio. I was by myself. I was like on Twitter trying to post as much as possible, like build that following. And then this person reached out to me. I'd done this post showing off one of our biomes, the cave biome, and they reached out to me and basically took the tweet that I'd done of a video of the cave area and did music to it. And
wow.
their name is James Lawrence, and it's actually their intro into the video game industry. So this is the first game they've worked on, but they did fantastic in that little clip. And I reached back out to them like, this is great. Do you want to do the actual music for the game? And so, and we've been working ever since. And they were the first people. They were the second person to come onto the project and help out on Slime Heroes.
It's amazing to hear how, you know, your title has really created an influence and impact on somebody to want to provide some music at that capacity and you know, fundamentally support the tone and vision for the game. What else is ahead in that vision for players? What are they intending to experience, and where does this world take them to?
Yeah, so like this is definitely like a huge world. There's lots of different areas to explore. The main mechanic for your character, as a slime, you can actually absorb the skills that you see that the enemies are using. And so you're kind of exploring, finding different enemies, taking their skills, and then combining those into brand new skills. And so there's like almost like a Kirby-esque to it where you're taking the enemy skill, but then you can mix and match them and build brand new ones.
Wow.
And then, there's just tons of exploration. We have done a bunch of biomes. There's going to be lots of boss fights, which will be the hardest combat in the game. There will be more cinematics, more great music, and a story that we've been developing for a while now that we're pretty excited to share.
Yeah.
What made you I know you kind of talked about this in the beginning, but slimes, like what fascinates you about slimes?
So
It's all some Barbara Walters stuff, but it's not at all. I mean, it's like
not this
it's like
not gonna
not
be
that deep,
appropriate
son.
for the stream. No. No. It's like when this. So I was by myself, like first figuring out this game idea, and I was trying to like figure out. So there's two real reasons why we went with slimes, and one was I wanted to do I wanted to find a character that could be charming, that players could associate with and understand. And slimes are one of the monsters that you commonly see. I think anyone who's played any type of mostly fantasy game, like they've probably seen a slime and they know that type of monster. And so
Right.
something that's kind of relatable that people understand. And then we also wanted to tell a story. So like the overarching story here is actually we're trying to tell a story of a race that got oppressed, and basically the world doesn't view them as something that is beneficial to this world. And so you'll see a lot of interactions with different NPCs and how they view slimes in this world. And
Okay.
basically your perseverance and wanting to help this world kind of alleviate or helps that viewpoint on you and show that you're actually this thing that seemed useless to the world actually can be a hero.
So what happened to that character right there? It was so cute, and then it turned into this like actually cool looking villain.
It was a very cool transition.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looked pretty badass.
So yeah, so like I said, like all the creatures. So every monster that you're fighting, you're actually trying to remove that corruption and save them. So right now you're in the cave biome. So all the creatures that you're saving here are this race called the Wiggles. And every biome, the next biome after this will be forest. There's this there's this own race here called the Boti, and you'll be saving them. And as you save more and more of them, they'll actually help you in an adventure and giving you like equipment and stuff like that to use later.
It's awesome how you're flipping the script that way. Yeah, because slime are like the lowest, denominator when it comes to those. You're just fighting tons of slimes and some of them.
Yeah.
In fantasy games. So that's interesting.
It's well timed too, because if I remember correctly, there's a few different anime series that are interpreting that same sort of relationship, the slime character now being the protagonist, and so I feel like you found your target audience. One of the things that I want to comment on. Oh, sorry, please go ahead.
Oh no, yeah, we're definitely there's a handful of those animes out now, and then we've noticed we correlate very well with that. Which
yeah, it's definitely felt. I, having the opportunity to play this directly, I've discovered a handful of combat moves. I'm changing into a fist and an anvil. You've played so much into the characterization of like how much personality a slime could have, which is again just really charming. Could you expand a little bit more about the combat? I've gathered weapons. I have different combat moves and things.
Yes. So the main push and pull is, so you have three skills that you can customize and build to whatever you want. So for example, for that, like early on in this area, you can get two skills, a projectile and a whirlwind. And so the whirlwind will pull enemies towards it. Projectile is a pretty basic projectile. It shoots a single projectile in front of you along a path. You can combine them. So if you do like a projectile whirlwind, you can actually have a whirlwind that shoots it and then is actually a projectile that's moving along the path and pulling enemies to it along its way. And then if you do it the other way, you can have a projectile that's now spinning around you. And so that's like a core system to the combat. And then every time you use a skill, you're actually using part of that blue bar. And so you'll use skills, that'll empty out, and the only way to refill that is to get melee hits in. And so there'll be a bunch of different melee weapons you can get, hopefully, and then ideally every person can find a melee weapon that matches their playstyle. And you'll be using melee weapons to fill back up that bar. So there's a nice push and pull of like using your magic skills, then getting in there, doing a couple melee hits, doing magic, and going back and forth. And then there'll be some ultimate skills you can get later on in the game after defeating bosses that you'll be able to use these very big, impressive skills.
And
Yeah.
there's multiplayer support in the game.
Yeah, so we've been working hard, and we have a demo that people can play right now, single player. They can also play online, so they can play with a friend. It's two people, but you can enjoy the entire experience together. From right after creating your character, you can join each other and play from the tutorial all the way to the end credit screen. We wanted to, I think as a studio, we want to build games where people can share experiences with each other. And that was something that was important to me. And so, yeah, so this game you can play with a friend or a family member through the whole thing.
That's lovely. You didn't mention voice acting. We have voiceover as
too.
well. Like,
Yeah.
when I pulled up on this character, he started talking and it's wonderful. So like, would love to hear more about that too.
Yeah, like we have voice acting for almost all the characters. I think the only characters that don't have voice acting are the little creatures you save in the biomes, but all of our NPCs, the bosses, have voice acting. We thought that was really important to add that charm and character and personality to at least the core cast. And so so there's VO through the entire game.
Yeah, it's like all of the nuance to the idle animations just from the characters. It's so seamless. How do you view the characterization of the animation? Like, how did you go about like establishing what you wanted the game to feel like?
So we definitely early on we were trying to figure out what were some things that we could do as a slime as a main character. Like, what were some unique things that we could do there? And so we were exploring a bunch, and it's like you'll see the slime character just in their idle animation, like they'll occasionally wave to the player, trying to create that bond with the player, and they'll turn themselves into a hand.
Yeah.
Also it was pointed out that during combat, if you do a jump attack, they'll turn into like an anvil or anything. We just wanted to utilize. We have a character that's this amorphous thing that can change shape, and so we wanted to really utilize that.
That was cool. You turned to a fist right there.
You did.
I saw the boot. I'm like, I'm gonna be a boot all day.
There's also like hats out there where you can personalize your slime, and so you'll actually change the silhouette of your slimes kind of person.
That's fun.
Anywhere from like, what is it? We have sunglasses or like spikes coming out the top of your slime's head. There's like a top hat. Slime top hat. Yeah, we wanted to try to add as much character to this as much as possible. So trying to find as many opportunities that we could.
Is that an inventory section when you were, or a tree system? What was
These are skills that I can equip, which are the ones that the slime character is learning from or sort of gaining from all the different enemies. And then there's my my menu here where I can equip my weapons and my hat.
And then in the skill menu you can actually, there's a second slot underneath that main slot that you can click on and then add that secondary. So if you added a projectile to your whirlwind right now, it changes the properties of that skill.
Wow. Okay,
So you can get duplicates of the skills, but that's because you can mix and match them, and then the order matters also.
Tight. Oh, that's gonna be fun.
And then you'll see a third slot, like later in the game, you'll find damage types. So you can add like burning damage or ice damage, or I think we have like 12 different damage types that will be able to customize your skills even more.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So tell us about the release. Like, you're eking towards the release.
We're getting so close. So we. I mentioned it earlier. This is our first public demo on Steam. That is now available, that players can experience it. So we're really excited for people to get in there, get their hands in there, get feedback from that. And then we're working on getting this game out this year. We don't have a specific date set, but we're getting close, and so it's great to just get this public demo out. And see what the player base is like, and hopefully they can join our Discord and we can interact with them. And we're really open with like getting feedback and responding to players. So we're really excited for this demo to be out.
What platforms?
Yeah, so right now the demo is going to be available on Steam. We are developing the game for multiple platforms. Right now, we've only announced Xbox for sure when we initially launch, but we are looking at other platforms potentially.
That's
But
awesome.
this demo will be on Steam.
The game looks really dope. The progression of it is so awesome, and it's great to see that you've built a team that can
Thank
put
you.
together something that this is this exquisite. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying?
The team's been great. Like we're a small team. We're 7 now, but a lot of them are like first time in the industry, and they're just really passionate and want to like. There's just as much excited for Slime Heroes as I am. So like it's been great being able to work with all of them.
Awesome.
Making
Where
new
can we
heroes out of slime heroes.
Dude,
Mhm.
yeah, that's great. So where can we find out more about the game, Pancake Game Studios, which I love the
Yeah.
name. I would have named it Flapjacks, you know what I'm saying? Just to add levity to it, but I'm just
Oh, I'm getting hungry. So yeah, so you can definitely check us out. Like probably our most like active social media is Twitter, and the handle is at slime_heroes. And that's where we're probably most active, but we're hitting that TikTok, we're on Instagram. But yeah, Twitter is probably the most active. And then obviously if you get on there, you should be able to, or on Steam, you can find our Discord. Definitely join our Discord. We're growing that out right now. And after this, probably our next steps we'll probably do some closed betas and try to get more feedback from players. So definitely join our Discord and look out for that. But yeah, check out our Steam and try the demo out and then give us feedback on our Discord. That'd be great.
Yeah, definitely check the game out, wish list it, play the demo, support. Thank you so much, Tomas.
Yeah.
Sorry. See, we gotta start this whole interview over again.
Black Voices in Gaming and y'all like just like I feel so grateful because I feel like I wouldn't have been here if I hadn't had y'all's support. So
I mean, it's awesome to be able to connect and do what we can, man.
Yeah.
Your voice needs to be heard. So
thank you.
for sure.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Tomas. Awesome stuff. I can't wait to get my hands on that game.
Yeah, same.
It's so dope and beautiful. It's also inspiring, for folks who want to get into the industry, whether it's AAA or they want to become independent. That's something to strive for. So
this is invigorating, through some hard times in the industry. That should be acknowledged that there's still an opportunity for developers to create really amazing things. And Tomas and Pancake, the rest of the team is doing exactly that. So yeah, really inspired.
Thank you, Tomas, for sharing Slime Heroes. It is looking incredible, and congrats on signing with the publisher, funding, and making an impact in the space. Well, that is our show, folks. Remember to check out the Guerrilla Collective event page on Steam, where you can learn more about the BVIG titles, buy the available games, or add them to your wish lists. Wish lists help the devs a ton. I can't say it anymore. You know what I mean? Just go ahead and play the demos. Check out the games. You know what I mean? Much love. We'd like to give a shout out to our partners for today's showcase: PlayStation, Raw Fury, Razer, Wilson Sonsini, and Humble Bundle for rocking with us this year and every year. Again, Black Voices in Gaming is a nonprofit that helps the developers in the culture who are making dope games through funding, accelerator programs, networking events, and showcases. Head on over to Humble Bundle to check out the latest bundle that will directly help the BVIG organization, and hit up our Tiltify and Streamlabs charity pages as well. Thanks to our broadcasting partners Twitch, IGN, Steam, and GameSpot for their support and hosting us. Thanks to the Experience Studios team, the BVIG advisors, the Mix team, and Tracy for being allies. Thanks to Derek for rocking with me on the hosting tip. You are so great and awesome. Follow us on Twitter or X at BVI Gaming, and everywhere else at Black Voices in Gaming. Visit our merch page for some cool, sick gear. We got all kinds of stuff. We hope you enjoyed yourself. Thanks for rocking with us. We had a blast introducing you to some great games, developers, and people making moves in the industry by doing their own thing. Stay tuned for the Dames for Games showcase and the Stream for a Cause showcase next. They are going to be fun. Once again, I am your host, Justin Woodward, co-founder of Black Voices in Gaming and The Mix. See you soon. Peace.